Merry meet and fare thee well. Settle in for a story with me, Astin Gaël. Thank you so much for being here today. This is your daily collective message for Wednesday, April the 8th. If you are not following the magic shop on BlueSky, the link to do so is in the description box down below. Over there, we are currently doing a music challenge hosted by me titled Audibly Witchy April. I have chosen a subject for each letter of the alphabet that correlates with the days of the month, and we are choosing songs to represent that subject. If you are enjoying the daily collective messages and you would like to have a story personalized for you, the link to the Buy Me a Coffee is in the description box down below. Over there, you will find regular blog postings that are not behind a paywall. However, if you enjoy them and feel led to buy me a coffee afterwards, I would greatly appreciate it. This is the only way my system and myself can earn income while we are disabled. All right, we are working our way through What There Is to Love About a Man, and we are using the theme of the excerpt to create a short story with the cards. Today's theme is ease. Sometimes a man is marked by his ease. There's no push, no strain, no struggle. His very presence is as comfortable as an old easy chair and as restful as a sunny day in June. It's easy for him to be with others because he's found a certain ease with himself. No matter where he goes or what he's doing, he seems to radiate ease. It simply oozes out of him in a gentle way. It's not just that he's an easygoing guy, he's easy being too. He's easy to talk to, and it's easy for him to listen. He eases into new situations, every hair in place, and you never ever see him sweat. He makes it all look so effortless, and when he explains it, it sounds so simple too. Storm clouds could gather all around him. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease. All the while, he makes things easy for the rest of us without making things hard on himself. It looks so easy when he does it, yet ask him about it and he just might answer, ease isn't always so easy. Oh, yeah. Oh, resonate with that one for sure. I have not always been an easy person to be around. Prior to fusions of certain altars, we were quite a dramatic circus. um, Now, a lot of people fancy that. Who doesn't want to be entertained when they're at a party? But finding long-term lovers or, friendships that aren't silly and surface level is pretty difficult when you're merely just the jester that's there for entertainment. And yeah, ease is not easy. Finding your center creating boundaries between self and the people and the environments around you. Well, returning to yesterday's subject, it's a journey. And it requires looking at a lot of your shadows. Believe it or not, a lot of dis-ease, disease, comes from things that are lurking in our shadows that we're just refusing to face. Um, so, mental illnesses do often just look like spiritual warfare and vice versa. It's one of the reasons you won't catch me labeling anything either or. I just recently watched the show Evil. It was a very interesting look at exactly that. Is it spiritual warfare? Is it a mental illness? Or is there something environmental that can explain it? Scientific. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you've never found ease, you're not alone. There are actually very few people who have mastered easygoing. So, let's talk about ease. The Empress coming through. Yeah, certainly if you've made it all the way through the Fool's Journey and you've come out a emperor or empress, I would say that you have, at the very least, learned ease. I'm leery of using the word mastered too much because, well, the minute that you fancy yourself a master, you're back at the beginning. You're back to being a fool. All right, so we have the Ace of Wands. A new idea, a new spark. So ideas might be coming to you easily at this time. There could be, and I'm gonna condemn past me for saying this. So I'm apologizing now to future version of me. There could be a twin flame in this story. Returning to yesterday's subject of journey, I do not doubt that the twin flame journey is quote unquote real. Okay? I do not doubt that I have walked it. I am hesitant to glob onto too much of the ideology from that journey. However, I am absolutely in agreement. 10-10 on the timer as I looked up there. So we're good. I am absolutely in agreement that there are people that we meet that feel fated, destined, soulmate-ish, that awaken new ideas in us, a spark. Hence the flame of twin flame. I think that they do this by mirroring. There's a message at the very beginning of the daily messages where I was talking about having a lack of mirroring in childhood leading to lack of affect in adulthood. You don't understand emotions, you don't portray emotions correctly or sometimes at all because they weren't modeled to you when you were an infant, toddler, young. In my opinion, those of us who lacked that, me included, may meet someone in our early adulthood who provides that for us, who mirrors us. And it's the first time that we can see what we look like when we're happy, what we look like when we're sad, what we look like when we're angry. You get my point. And yeah, that can create a love, a borderline obsession. Um, the Nine of Wands in the reverse, but there's often a lack of boundaries in that because now you're wondering, am I happy every time they are happy? Am I sad every time they are sad? You lose access to your own emotions when you are experiencing them only through someone else. This is a lack of ease, dis-ease. Returning to that center, if we look at yesterday's message, does require abstaining from love, does require going into hermit mode, does require learning, obtaining knowledge. Yeah. So, we do have the Empress coming back out. If we want to use the terms from the twin flame journey, we have the divine feminine over here. Okay. Part of the feminine's journey could have been dealing with some sexual trauma. Also, a lack of seeing, a blind eye, and I'm referring to all the eyes, unable to see what's right in front of them as far as our 3D reality goes, and unable to ascertain the knowledge that comes from the third eye. So, seer level abilities. That is, in my opinion, something that is accessible to us all once we have healed our feminine essence. So this feminine that was part of this journey definitely had to work on their eyes. Um, yeah, it was foggy. It was foggy. It's like, whenever it's about to rain, which it is, and you're wearing glasses and you walk out, the change from being inside to outside, the glasses are foggy. This person was foggy all the time. Okay. So this Empress was definitely a lover. Queen of Buds. They shared their heart with anyone and everyone. Um, that could be where the sexual trauma comes into play. If you're just open to share your heart and you are still confused that the heart and the body are not, separate, that they are one and the same, that if you're sharing your heart, it also means you have to share your body. Well, this person probably opened themselves up to a lot of, um, you know, other people's energy. I like to look at the word sex like a acronym: sacred energetic exchange. So you are agreeing to taking on the energies of whoever you decide to have sex with. And this person took on a lot of people's energies. So again, having trouble seeing clearly because they were lacking boundaries with their emotions. I have no idea when I'm sad. I think I feel sad all the time, but, you know, it wasn't even their sadness to begin with. It was the person that they slept with last night that called them at 3 o'clock in the morning, and why do you make phone calls like that at 3 o'clock in the morning? You're probably a little depresso espresso or drunk, and honestly, same thing. uh, um, Okay, the Herkimer Diamond. The Herkimer Diamond. Okay, I know very little about this.
And
This
so,
feminine person was bamboozled a lot, swindled. 4-6 4-6-8-2-4-6-8. Who do we appreciate? Um, okay, so like cheering mantras coming through. There was a lot of people who were able to win this feminine essence over, using their words. And it's kind of like a sing-songy rhyme. Um, the way Okay, this could literally be a message about anybody who happens to fall prey to just marketing. Okay, like this is someone who, you know really bought into whatever was being marketed to them. Okay. um you know Not to be stereotypical, but over here we have a dark blue card, so I'm gonna just, over here to the right, call this the divine masculine pile. Okay, not that blue is for boys and pink is for girls. Don't even come at me in the comments with that shit, because it's not what I believe. We've got the Five of Cups, and that is a great looking Five of Cups. I mean, that's just freaking gorgeous, right? It's very much giving Pisces energy. So while this Empress, this feminine essence, is kind of giving Cancerian energy, very motherly, very nurturing, this divine masculine, this masculine essence is giving Piscean energy, which I can't help it. I always think of Poseidon. And Poseidon is one of my favorite fatherly archetypes of the Greek gods, because I definitely see more of myself in the sons, but if I were going to put myself in one of the father archetypes, it would have to be Poseidon. Someone who, keeps their emotions to themselves, keeps their emotions to themselves, keeps their emotions to themselves. Po! Hurricane. It's this person, they bury shit deep, and then out of nowhere it comes forth, and it is powerful. And sometimes that power, I think, probably fascinates and um confuses. But similarly, that power, you know, destroys and terrifies. Yeah, terrifies. This person has a spooky energy. It's just, I can't, they're spooky. Have Okay, yeah, it's like the Joker, the movie The Joker, very specifically uh Joaquin Phoenix. I think Joaquin Phoenix is one of the best actors at um melancholy, Machiavellian, um melodrama. He just, I think it's that smirk that he has, and then he also has that little scar that's nearby his mouth, and it just makes him very menacing. That was the word I was looking for, but all of those other M words work too. He's very menacing, and that's what this masculine essence is giving off. So I kind of almost think that rather than really being a mirror of this feminine essence, this masculine, who kind of lit a fire underneath this feminine's ass, so to speak, um, they showed this empress the parts of themselves that they were too scared to admit existed. Um, they kept all of their emotions to themselves as well. But because they walked around feeling other people's feelings, they were always feeling, and so no one would know that they kept their emotions to themselves. They didn't even really know, I don't think, until they met this masculine and they realized, yeah, I don't think I've ever actually told someone else, yes, you make me happy. No, you've made me angry. Um, they're realizing now because of this masculine who just couldn't say how they were feeling, that rather than feeling their own feelings, this feminine has been feeling for other people. My ponytail just broke. That could be similar, like it was right at the top of my like crown, and it kind of feels like a release because I had it really tight. This feminine, I think, spent a lot of time in their head because they were the vessel for so many other people's emotions that, it was only safe to be up here. And now their head is finally kind of releasing, like it's getting clear. We said yesterday in the journey the hermit had to detach from their faith, and they had to go through a moment of kind of hopelessness. um and yeah, that that kind of sounds like a pressure being let out. I'm seeing like a rice steamer, a pressure cooker, when it's letting out the steam. Letting out the steam is a good way to describe this whole thing. So this masculine is now in this Two of Wands energy. And I'm hearing both the song Should I Stay or Should I Go Now? And you and me go fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and looking at the stars where the full grass grows. You know what I mean. Those are the wrong lyrics. This person is wondering if they should stick around, if this feminine essence is still receptive to them. They are also kind of fantasizing about, taking them fishing or just kind of being with them. Going back to the theme of ease, this person is wondering, now that all of that pressure has been let out, like, could we be at ease with one another, or did is what we had just, was it just meant for this, meant for you to be able to let go of some pressure and me to see that, you know I keep things to myself, and sometimes that is to my own detriment. I need to be able to tell somebody when I have feelings for them. Final outcome. Okay, so the final outcome is this King of Pentacles. They're pretty at ease. The Tower in the reverse, the Octagram in the reverse, the Star in the reverse, and the Four of Wands upright. So I see the potential for these two to come back together and it not be an illusion. Um, so long as both are willing to give in to raw emotion, vulnerability, and so long as um, taboo elements are kept to a minimum, power dynamics are eliminated. You know, it's giving this Empress is also a star, and this divine masculine is also a king of pentacles. The divine masculine is capable of, I don't want to say financing the star, but yeah, it's giving like benevolent benefactor. Back when Leonardo da Vinci and other such artists, writers, and philosophers of the times were only able to survive because they had somebody, floating them financially. So long as these two are able to meet each other where they're at, no, put me on a pedestal, etc., etc., they're equals. This could end in a celebration, you know, dare I say, marriage. So, until next time, be well, be you.